Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about should you buy tools at AutoZone. Now first you have to realize that AutoZone is an auto parts store mainly. They sell some tools, but that's not their main business. Their main business is in selling car parts for you to fix your car. Unlike a place like, say, Harbor Freight Tools, all they do is sell tools. They're not selling you radiators and brake pads and stuff like that. It's a different business. Now start out with the tools that really, over time, you shouldn't buy from AutoZone. And that's the cheaper socket sets. If you see a set of full sockets, I saw one there, it was $19.99. They're made in Taiwan. They're junky tools. When I was a kid, I bought some junky tools to put in the trunk of my car. And hey, they all fell apart after you used them a little bit of while. To give you an example, here's a set of 3/8 inch sockets that I have. If I bought each one of these individually, I would have spent about $88 buying them all. So if you get a tool set for $19.95 that has all those sockets, a couple of ratchets, extension bars, screwdrivers, they're going to be really cheaply made. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And if you're going to buy a grinder, I don't advise buying one of their $29 ones. I did in the past. Didn't last long. I got this DeWalt. Yeah, it cost a lot more money, but it's a really good grinder that's lasted me years. And if you need oddball sockets like these Torx, get a quality set. They're tiny and fine. If they're cheap steel, guess what's going to happen, especially if they're pot metal. You put any torque on them and they just break, or they strip inside, then you have a hard time getting the nuts and bolts out. Get quality ones. Don't go buy a set of them that are $9.98. They might not even work the first time, especially if you live up north where everything's rusty and you try to get it off, it'll just snap the cheap tool off. And if you want a flashlight that's bright and that lasts, don't buy those counter ones that they sell. Sometimes they're $5 or $6 or $8. If you want quality, get a quality light that's going to last for years. This Sofern light, I've had it for years. You can see it's beat up looking, but boy, it puts out light. Basically, it's lasted me 4 years so far with no problems at all, other than I got to recharge the battery, but it's got this huge lithium ion rechargeable battery that still works fine after all these years. I'm working on a car. If that flashlight breaks in the middle of the job, it drives me nuts. I want quality. This thing is like $37 on Amazon. It's worth the money. Rather than buying 10 or 20 over the years of the cheap plastic ones, this solid metal one, I've had no problems. I've even run over it with an F-150 truck sideways, and it scraped it a little, but it still works good. Now, definitely don't buy a vacuum pump at AutoZone, but that's for a completely different reason. And that's because AutoZone loans out all kinds of tools absolutely free, including vacuum pumps. As I said, AutoZone is mainly a company that sells auto parts to people to fix their cars. They loan out all kinds of tools free, so you can fix your own car and not have to buy the expensive tools that a mechanic has to buy. Let's say you don't have an expensive scan tool like I do that does ABS codes. AutoZone actually loans free OBD2 scan tools that do ABS because they're in the business mainly of selling auto parts. So if you use a scan tool, find out that you need a wheel hub ABS sensor assembly, the tool shows you that, odds are you're going to go back to them to buy it. And let's say your cooling system has a leak and you want to pressure test it. Well, last week my pressure tester broke after years and years, so I just bought a new set. It was about 150 bucks. Do you want to spend 150 bucks on a pressure testing system? Something you might use 4 or 5 times in the next 20 years? I don't think so. You don't have to buy one at AutoZone. You can borrow it. They loan pressure testing equipment. And let's say you got a bad CV axle, your front drive shaft's broken and clanking when you turn. Hey, AutoZone sells good ones. I buy them all the time from them. But you have to buy all the tools for pulling the axle out. But you don't want to go out and buy one. Guess what? AutoZone loans axle pullers out free too. Maybe you need a new ball joint, but you don't want to buy expensive ball joint pressing toolkits. They loan those out too. Let's say you jack up your car and your wheels got play in it. You find out that your outer tie rod is worn out. They rent tie rod removal tools too. And let's say you want to test your battery or you think your alternator's not charging. Do you really want to buy one of these $900 testers like I have? But guess what? AutoZones will test your starter test your battery, test your alternator, all in their parking lot for nothing. Hey, there's quite a few times if you're a do-it-yourselfer then, you'd rather just borrow a tool than buy it. But when it comes to buying hand tools, I got a lot of their Duralast tools. These things are pretty quality made, and as you can see on the sign, it's guaranteed for life. Now, I can't truthfully say by my own experience that they'll give you another one free if it breaks, because I've never had any of these break yet. And I've been using their hand tools for over 30 years. There's an AutoZone that's 3.5 blocks south of me. If I lose a tool or have a really old one that breaks, of course I'm going to go over there and buy one. It's got a lifetime guarantee and it's a solid steel tool. I used to have quite a few Craftsman tools, but the Sears store is 4 miles further down the road, so I ended up going to AutoZone that's 3.5 blocks away, and that was a smart move because the Sears are all long gone now, and the AutoZones are merrily rolling along. Now, I used to have a full set of Duralast. That's that little red stripe. These are all Duralast sockets, but if you notice, some of them don't have the stripes. Now, I've actually never broken one of these sockets, but I lose them all the time, so I buy replacement ones wherever I can find them. So now you know all about AutoZone and tools. When you shouldn't buy them there, when you should buy them there, and when you should just go over there and borrow their expensive tools to find out what's wrong, and then return them when you're done and not spend any money on tools. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.